All right, you're live.
Great, thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's July 21st, 2021 Planning and Development meeting. And I'd like to welcome our city councilors, Councilor Jen Holgram, Councilor Barry Pett, and me, Val Gilman. And our clerk of committees, Sherry Corvallis, is on the call. And I believe right now that is all. Let me just check to see if we have any guests.
Madam
Len-
Chair,
Len Femino just signed on.
Okay, great.
we got an email from Carol Palazzola asking for the Zoom link again. She can't find it, so I'm just going to be forwarding that to her, FYI.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's for the BIM Scala BIM con.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think then Len is here. So without objection, I'd like to go out of order because Len is here for, let me just make sure that I've got this correct. For item number 2, which is the Lone Gull 10K road race on September 9th. So without objection, let's take that out of order and start with Len. So
That's fine.
Len, would you so the first order of business out of order is special events application. Excuse me. Before I do that, let me read the overview. Consistent with chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. Persons who wish to do so are invited to view the meeting, and the numbers are on the city website by either computer, smart device, or by the phone. And all of our votes will be by roll call, and the first order of business, as I said, will be taken out of order because we're happy that Len Femino is here. And we'll start with our special events application request for street closures, Lone Gull 10K road race on September 19th, 2021. And the rain date is September 26th, 2021. So Len, would you introduce yourself and tell us about this exciting road race? Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Great, very good. So this is the 14th running of the Lone Gull. This year it's September 19th, 2021. For the last 7 years, we've had the honor of being the USATF championship race. And this year, because of COVID, there's only going to be 4 races in the series, and will be the 10K championship. So we're going to get the fastest people in New England to come in and enjoy Gloucester and get it done. We're very experienced. We have a school behind us where we take care of about 100 special needs students. And that school has been open despite COVID since last July. I'm talking 170 teachers in the building, administrators, and 100 students without COVID issues because of the protocols they've been taking. So they take everything real serious. We're going into it somewhat being flexible because if things go bad, we're going to go remote too. We're going to do everything that the health agent wants us to do. But if the race goes off, we'll have it so well organized. And I believe I'm before you because we need to close down Nautilus Road for about a couple of hours where the bridge from Good Harbor Beach goes on to Nautilus. That's where the starting line is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we will add that specifically on our motion to whomever reads it under the road closure plan, that it's specifically Nautilus Road is the road that we'll be closing.
Thank you.
That's really helpful. So councilors, do you have any questions for Len? Councilor Pett.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have any questions for Len because again, they've done this so many times and they do a great job. But I just wanted to let you know as the chairperson that the second attendee of that phone number is Carol's phone number. So that is Carol Palazzola that has joined us.
Thank you. Carol will be with you shortly. So thank you for being able to get in, and thanks for Council Holgram for getting her call-in number. Appreciated. So Len, I understand that your responsibility will be to notice all the abutters, and that is part of the plan. And other than making sure that we're clear that it's Nautilus Road in question, which we can add to the road closure plan, which is item 2 in the conditions,
Yep.
I think we're ready to make a motion. So Council Holgram, do you want to do that today?
Yes, I do. And I believe it will let me do it without kicking me off. Please,
Awesome.
please, gods of the internet.
Terrific.
Let us, okay. All right. The Planning and Development Committee voted to permit the Lone Gull 10K road race sponsored by the Children's Center for Communication to be held Sunday, September 19th, 2021 from 9:00 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. with a rain date of September 26th, 2021 with the following conditions. 1, a certificate of insurance naming the City of Gloucester as an additional insured party has been filed with the City Clerk's office. 2, road closure plan. Approvals of the Special Events Advisory Committee giving approval of the plans for the Lone Gull 10K road race have been given. Roads to be closed on the back shore are to be marked with signage directing the public as to the duration of the closure and alternate routes. Traffic and parking plan and police detail information by the police chief or his designee is to be filed with the city clerk and the DPW director or his designee on or before September 10th, 2021. And in here, I'll just say Nautilus Road will be closed for 2 hours during the beginning of the race. Is that all right?
Yes, it's generally the police close it off around 8 o'clock, and by 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's all over. And we don't finish on that road anymore. We finish at the beach in the parking lot, so it's a lot easier on the public. So yes.
Okay, thank you, Len.
Thank you.
All right, so closed from 8 a.m. until 10 o'clock a.m. 3, refuse and comfort stations. All event refuse and recycling must be removed by the organizer. If any portable toilets with 2 handicapped accessible are to be provided and maintained by the organizer, they are to be placed the evening before the day of the event or early in the morning of the day of the event and removed by 1:00 p.m. Sunday, September 19th, 2021. 4, emergency services. Any EMS requirements of the city EMS director must be met. 5, staffing. Event staff is to have cell phones and be identified by the public with distinct shirts. A list of event staff and their cell phone numbers is to be submitted to the police, fire, or DPW departments. 6, notification of immediate abutters and businesses to race route. Notice shall be made by the event organizer by hand or by mail no later than 7 days in advance of the event to any function halls, motels, and hotels and other businesses along the race route. 7, responsibility of the Children's Center for Communication. It is the sole responsibility of the Children's Center for Communication to ensure that all required documentation is timely filed with the appropriate city departments as indicated. Failure to comply with any conditions precedent may result in permit revocation. Any changes to the route must receive prior approval from the police and fire departments, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have Council Holgram made the motion and Councilor Pett seconded it. Is there discussion, councilors?
Just thank you again, Len, for doing this. I know it's a lot of work and it benefits a great cause. And it's just nice to see road races getting back, in gear in Gloucester, hopefully.
Well, thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be there. It's so beautiful. And
Thank
by the
you.
way, the woman winner 2 years ago, who broke the course record, made the Olympic team in the marathon. So you'll see her next week. So you got to watch the women's marathon.
What is her name?
Molly Seidel. Now, in Molly Seidel's situation, she's from the Midwest. In her Instagram page, she has a picture of herself standing in Good Harbor Beach with her Lone Gull number on. So even though she's this American record holder and this All-American 7 times over, she used a picture taken in Gloucester. So
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
pretty cool. It's
How
pretty cool.
exciting. That's great.
Thank you.
Council Pett.
Yeah, that's echoing what Councilor Holmgren has said. Again, Len, thank you for doing this, not only for the Children's Center for Communication, but also for the citizens of the city of Gloucester, because over the years we have gotten tremendous publicity. I'm sure we get a little bit of an economic boost that day, which is great. But the most important thing is people get to see Gloucester's face, and they get to see it around the world. And this will be an example of how that's going to happen at the Olympics. To see Miss Adele, doing that with that picture. So thank you for that. Congratulations, and keep. Hopefully, we can keep doing this year after year after year.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate
Great.
that.
And
so
Len,
much.
before we take our vote, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that if for some reason, God forbid, that the variant strikes, the city has the right to let you know that it's not safe for us. And we don't have a condition on that right now, but I just want you to be aware of that. And I'm sure you understand that. So,
We absolutely do.
okay, terrific. So I'm ready to take a roll call vote. So Council Holgram,
Yes.
Council Pat,
Yes.
Council Gilman. Yes, the yeses have it, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you so much, Len. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to the first order of business now because I believe the producer of the film is on the call right now. If Chris Arena is on the call right now as the call-in listener, could you introduce yourself, Sherry? You're now as a panelist. And I just want to make sure, because I promised Chris he would be able to go first on the agenda because his schedule is crazy. Is that who?
Chair, I don't see him.
Okay, so we had given him a panelist.
Correct, and I did hear back from him via email that he did receive it.
Okay, so I'm just wondering who the one call-in listener is. Is that Carol Palazzola?
I
Because
believe it is, yes.
phone number is down as well. Okay, so let's go to Carol's order of business. So we're delighted that Carol's here. We're on item number 3, special events application, request for street closures. The BIM Scala BIM movie premiere on August 25th, 2021. And we're delighted to have Carol Palazzola here, who's the event organizer. So Carol, would you introduce yourself and tell us about this exciting event? Thank you. Can you take yourself off mute? Great. Thank you.
Hi, can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yes.
Oh,
can.
okay, thank you so much. And thank you to Council Holgram for recognizing my phone number. I appreciate it. I couldn't find the original email and I located it, so I appreciate that time.
Great. So,
So go ahead, I'm sorry.
so just tell us about the event and what you're asking for in terms of a street closure from P&D.
Okay. It's funny because as I was sitting on the call, I was thinking about it. So we had originally asked for Wednesday, August 25th, down at Harbor Loop to show the movie. I connected with Rob Newton. He has that blow-up screen that he used to use for the movie nights at the I4C2 space, and he volunteered to let us use the screen in order to show the documentary that BIM Scala BIM just completed, and it's doing a tour right now across the United States. So they're putting Gloucester on the map in that aspect, and they said, hey, can we show the movie, the night of the concert? So we weren't sure if we could do it at Stage 4 Park. So their concert's actually Thursday, the 26th. So we said, well, let's do it the night before. But you know what? Now that I think about it, because Rob was like, we have to wait till it gets a little bit dark out. And they're playing till 9 p.m. on Thursday. So Rob thinks, I was just texting him, he's like, maybe we just have it the same night as the concert. So I guess we just didn't know how you felt about that, to be on the ground at Stage 4 Park till about 11. Is that okay? Is that too late? Is it after hours? Or do you want me to have it at Harbor Loop on Wednesday they originally requested.
That's not, Carol, that's not what's before us. What's only before P and D is the street closure based on your application for holding it
Right.
on Harbor Loop. You would have to get with the DPW, to talk about whether, where you don't have any street closures or whatever, but whether they can allow that with your third. I mean, it sounds great. That was one of the things I think I brought up that day, was when you're going to have the concert, it'd be a great time to have the film. But that would be between you and the DPW. That would not be anything that needs to come before us at all.
Okay, so if I rescind my request to use Harbor Loop, and I wouldn't have to, worry about street closures, it will just change the date to Thursday and have it up at stage 4, and I won't have to, bother P&D again.
That's
I gue-
correct.
I guess I am a little bit concerned, Carol, just because if that is not acceptable to DPW, then you're going to miss your Delta to get this approved.
Ah,
You know what I mean? So
okay.
I'm
Well,
wondering.
you know what then? So, yeah, take the street closure.
I'm wondering if we shouldn't move forward with this, and then if you
Right.
decide in the next couple of days that the other alternative is not available, then you can come back to us at the next meeting and just ask to withdraw your request. I'm more comfortable doing it
Okay.
that way.
That's
Yeah.
a really great
Yeah,
idea.
and that way, also before time-wise, when it comes to the city council, we can just, again, Chairperson Gilman can just say that the applicant, which is you at this point, has withdrawn the request because of, X, Y, Z. But if you
Right.
don't,
Okay.
if you don't
And
do it, if you don't do it today,
Right.
you're going to have a problem getting this through and getting it approved by the full council.
Yeah, actually, we don't, this doesn't
Okay.
have to be approved by the full council. This is just
Okay.
back to us because of
Okay,
the
I'm sorry.
emergency part of COVID is over now, so we're approving these just
Okay.
to us. So it makes it easier, but I'm glad you mentioned that, Barry. So let's go ahead and do the motion on this, and I'm comfortable with that plan. Seems like Council Holgram and Council Pett agree that plan is rather be safe than sorry for you, so.
I agree. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah. Okay. Planning and Development voted to approve a special events permit to hold the BIM Scala BIM movie premiere on August 25th, 2021 during the hours of 7:30 p.m. until 9:00 p.m. with the following conditions. 1, Harbor Loop to be closed to two-way traffic beginning at the buoy, past the Coast Guard station, leaving the entrance to 11 Harbor Loop open and accessible, and ending at the building center. The movie will be set up on one side of the road so as to have one-way traffic. 2, Harbor Loop will be one-way traffic from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. for setup and breakdown. 3, applicant to notify all abutters of the closed area of Harbor Loop in advance of the event. 4, this event is covered under the City of Gloucester's liability insurance policy as a city-sponsored event, and I so move.
Second. So
Okay.
we have a motion by Council Holgram, seconded by Council Gilman. Is there discussion, councilors? Nope.
The only discussion would be, again, that what you've already brought up, that, provided that Ms. Palazola gets her approval from the DPW, that she lets inform us that, that she wants to withdraw the application.
Great.
And I'd just like to thank you, Carol, for bringing this forward. Regardless of what happens, you and Rob work really hard on these things, and it's appreciated.
Right. And Carol,
Thank you so much.
so before we do our roll call vote, I just do want to mention to you that if for some reason COVID spikes with the variant and we're unable to go through with this, the mayor's office has that call to make. And I'm sure that that would be very clear to you. So I just wanted to mention that. It's not in the conditions, but it's just important just to know. Just as a
Yes,
professional
certainly.
courtesy. Great. So I think we're ready to vote. So Council Holgram,
Yes.
Council Pat,
Yes.
Council Gilman. Yes, the yeses have it. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you, Carol. And you let us know if for some reason the other alternative plan works. And then just go to the clerk's office and mention that you need to withdraw your permit. And then we'll make sure that we vote to accept your withdrawal at the next meeting. So thank you for being here and for getting on the call, even though you had some technical challenges.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your time and guidance on this. I appreciate it.
Okay, have a good night.
All right, you too.
Sherry,
Thank you. Bye.
thank you. The next order of business is going to be item number 1. And if you would, Sherry, if you could, because it looks like Chris might not be here, and I'd like you to be able to upload, after I introduce this, item number 3 in the packet, which is the specific notice from the mayor's office on street closures. And I'm comfortable moving forward with this approval without Chris. I've had multiple conversations with him. I feel comfortable in representing him. So if you could just get that ready to put on the screen, but let me just introduce the topic.
Sure.
So the last order of business, which was initially the first, is a memorandum from the mayor requesting street closures at Lanes Cove for a movie production on July 27th, 2021. So let's begin by, if you would upload onto the screen, Sherry, the letter from the mayor with the request of the street closures.
Sure. 1 second. I'm bringing it up.
Thank you.
And while she's doing that, Val, I would just say that I am, I didn't know whether of your conversations or whatever. I was prepared to, and I am still prepared to move forward with this just on the memorandum from the mayor's office. It's normal procedure with these. I've worked with many of the films. I put on the world premiere of the Perfect Storm, and they do their due diligence in doing what they need to do. So I'm comfortable moving forward, just having this memorandum from the mayor's office.
Great. Thank you.
I agree with Councillor Pat, absolutely. And I want to thank you, Councillor Gilman, for having conversations to help us get prepared to get to this point.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, but there is communications as a ward councillor that we need to make sure folks that are accustomed to being able to use the Cove understand what some of the limitations are going to be. But that is beyond what we're here to do today. Today, we're basically here to do the permitting for the road closure. So Sherry, if you wouldn't mind, could you just read this into the record, and we can see it now on the screen. So thank you.
Sure. To City Clerk Joanne Sinos and the City Council from the Mayor's Office, Community Development, regarding street closures at Lanes Cove Road, July 27th, 2021. The date of the memo is July 7th, 2021. Councilors, please see the below details and attached documents regarding a movie production scheduled for July 27th, 2021 in the area of Lanes Cove Road with the latest information as follows. Film at Lanes Cove on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021 from approximately 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Some of these bullets may have been addressed in advance of P&D subcommittee meeting. Bullet number 1, traffic control, road closed except to residents for Lanes Cove Road at St. Andrews and Dooley Street for council discussion. Boat control traffic, access to public boat ramp. Harbor Master has confirmed availability. Includes use of the Lanes Cove Fish Track. DPW has confirmed availability. The base camp, which is O'Malley on Tuesday, July 27th from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And the DPW confirm there are no other events taking place on this day and how to handle the location of buses and getting them moved. Regards, Safati Romantic and Mayor.
Great, thank you so much. So I'm very comfortable and I'm glad you can remove that now, Sherry, but thank you for showing that. So just to let counselors know, so I've been in touch with Jill Cahill, had reached out to me as the ward counselor, not as chair of P&D, as well as TJ Shimataro and I have spoken about noticing the mooring holders and the commercial fishermen, and also the Lanes Cove Historical Association. Early on, Mark Cole had reached out to me because they wanted to be able to use that as a staging area for the actors and actresses. And so Ralph Pizzataro has been in touch with them and they cleaned out the whole fish shack. So it's kind of a whole community matter. And we have communications information that we'll be posting just to let you know, counselors, to let the public know. And we're hoping that this will be really exciting for people. And I think that we're very organized with both police detail and with noticing the abutters. There are 20 abutters on the 3 roads that are affected. And then the other thing is that the harbor master will have a boat outside Lanes Cove just to kind of make sure that the boat situation is all handled appropriately. So it's going to be exciting, and geez, in a year or two, we'll be able to watch this movie. It will be kind of like the perfect storm. I think it will be exciting. And it, like I said, it takes a village. Everybody's been working together. So Council Holgram, would you like to have the honors of reading this?
How about if we ask the ward counselor to read this motion?
That's so
I
nice,
agree.
Councilor Pat. I'm very proud to make this motion. Thank you. Planning and Development Committee approves a special events permit to hold, oh, that's the wrong one, sorry. Planning and Development Committee permits street closures in the area of Lanes Cove Road at Andrews Street and Dooley Street, except to direct abutters for the purpose of a movie production, Confess Fletch, on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. And I so move.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second by Council Holgram. Any discussion?
I'm going to have to watch the first 2 Fletch movies finally.
Sounds great. Councilor Pat, any comments?
No, other than having worked with many of the movie production companies over the years, doing a lot of the different movies here on Cape Ann. There's nothing negative to come out of this. Sometimes there's a little bit of inconvenience for immediate butters and residents, but for the most part, they're very happy to have it happening in their backyard, and it's great for the economy in the future. The city, to give you an idea, the city today, over 21 years later, is still getting a tremendous boost from The Perfect Storm, just one single movie. And there are, there's at least a dozen others that have been done in the last 20 years. And we get a plus from this. So we thank them for choosing. And also, just as a side note, the state just approved the permanent film tax credit program. And there's some, discussion as to how much is whatever, but they put some new requirements in, and there'll be, I think, here in Gloucester, we can expect over the, in the coming years, we're going to get plenty more of these applications, and I'll be happy to support it.
That's awesome. In my dealings with the producer, Chris Arena, which was Jill's suggestion to have us talk, which was great. I mentioned to him, I'm just going off topic just for a second, but I mentioned to him that when we were hosting The Perfect Storm, George Clooney was in Passports, and he was having dinner by himself up at the bar. He didn't want to be drinking, but he was just having his dinner there. And Avis Murray was there with 3 friends celebrating her birthday. And George Clooney learned that Avis was celebrating her birthday in a very low-key way. He paid for the check for the 4 people.
Oh,
I
that's
will-
nice.
I will never forget that story because it will always make George Clooney very special to me, because it was just so thoughtful, and it really showed how much he really was appreciative to be filming, and Avis talks about it all the time. I just think it's awesome. Of course, I think George is pretty good too. So anyway.
He's okay.
I used to have- When we did the Perfect Storm, I used to have breakfast with him often in what's now the Maritime Gloucester,
Really?
their front
Wow.
office. And there was a separate room off to the side, and a lot of times he'd come out of, not in his trailer, and I was there, working on him. We'd go in and we just have, have breakfast
Oh
and
my
just hang
gosh,
out.
Barry,
you
I'm
know.
gonna
That's
get you
cool.
autograph. That is
It
so
was a
cool.
regular thing,
Wow.
and that was a change for Mark Wahlberg also in his, in his life career. He had some pretty negative thoughts about him, before them, and he was just switching, and that was what the end. God forbid if you mentioned the name Marky Mark anywhere on the set, his
Boy.
his handler Ben would come, and he was about 6'6" and about 400 pounds, I think, and he would gently put his arm around you and start to squeeze and inform you that was the last time he was going to hear that out of your mouth.
Uh-oh. All right, so we're gonna take a vote. So thank you, Barry. Council Holgram,
Yes.
Council Pat,
Yes.
Council Gilman. Yes, the yeses have it. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Let's do a roll call. Councilor Holgram,
Yes, thank you very much, all of you.
Council Pat,
Yes, thank you, Sherry, and yes.
thank you. And Council Gilman, yes, the yeses have it. Good night, everybody. Thank
Good
you,
night.
Sherry, for doing all your hard work. We appreciate it.
Good
night,
night, everyone.